I'm doing a subscription pay for people who subscribe to my YouTube channel. They get game currency, and it's about 20 people today. Everybody was nervous and saying that, where's my currency? Where's my currency? There's hard when 17 people. It's hard when 17 people is messaging you all at once and asking about where's my coins, But I have to actually finish and see how many people is subscribe. I have to check that. Didn't stuff already been here? I guess stuff gonna get double one. Oh guys, such a long time. John finally getting his coins. And another one got. Now we're gonna delete this one and into the next one. Copy. How many we have to go? Not bad. But thank you for subscribing. Check out. But got his 80 coins. Congratulations. Ugh. It takes time. Definitely takes time. 20 people. Search. Happy. Another one. We almost done. 4 more people to go. Another one. 3 people to go. Two more people to go. And the last person. Right? Yep, it's the last person. Vampire. Last person is Vampire. And we thank you for subscribers. And that's it. Everybody been subscribed. So we're going back to game to see how people are reacting now. It's gonna restart probably. Yep, it's gonna restart the game. We're gonna see what people gonna say. Trying to find 299. There you go. 297. Hold on, guys, I can't. Took 20 minutes. And everybody talk about vortex. I mean, I get it. If you have a hunger like this, or like this, there's like one robot or two robots or five robots. Like this guy, he's almost professional. But I'm on the other hand is professional for real. My each robot is maxed out. With maxed out guns, pilots. This robot doesn't have mods, but this one has all mods. Wait, yep. No, it does. So we have everything maxed out here together with the pilot. It is fun. So is here. So is all legendary implants, almost in all robots. Only on my favorite robots, I would say. This one is a very good robot. I mean, very good guns on him, but not good robot. And here we have pilot with also maxed out stuff. Legendary yellow stuff. That's what we have. Oh yeah, let's see who is looking. Look, 11 people. All these people are who subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna delete some people so I can bring some new people in. Let me see. 300 people. Delete her. She's not playing. Nine hours, 17 hours away. Sorry. Got to go. Everybody who's like warrior is my friend. So I'm gonna let him be in. "18 hours ago. Pretty much everybody playing. Three minutes, 16 hours. Now we can go and invite new people. That's all people who subscribe to my channel. And my list still full. Let's see if I can do it. List. Oh, that's so many people. Can get the last person in. I don't know to who remove. Oh yeah, I know who to remove. Carter's gonna go away. Look at this guy. This guy is a scammer. Big scammer. He buy like robots and stuff on a credit card, and then he call credit card and say, "Oh, it's a scam. I didn't buy this. It's not me." And of course, credit card will return him his money for what he spent and claim that he didn't spend, and he had to keep the robot. That's called fraud, and fraud is illegal. Come on. Finally. Like, life. Man of my word. It took 5 while subscribed. You are welcome to watch if you like. Go on my YouTube and check how many subscribers we got. And now YouTube Studio, YouTube. And we on YouTube. We go to me. We go view my channel. We got 100 subscribers. And ouch. I just hit myself on accident. Oh, it hurt. And just a couple of days ago, or maybe a week ago, I had maybe less than 81 subscribers or 81 subscribers. I grow strawberries, I grow tomatoes on my channel. Look at them peppers. That's my cat. And it's mostly all MechArena. Mostly. So yes, that's about it. We started channel 11 months ago. Almost a year ago. This is crazy. Crazy. The oldest was 18 months ago. 11 months ago. That's when I only started. Let's see the very last video I'll play. Very first video what I posted. Oh yeah, it's 2 weeks ago, so it's all the way upstairs. Sorry. 11 months ago. It has no. Then I couldn't verify how to have a sound. And my favorite match was Bastin and Pargans. I was killing it with them Pargans. Unfortunately, it's my very unfavorite map. I don't like this map. But now, since I have maxed out Deathwalker, oh yeah, this is my favorite map. Because I can go right there through the stairs to the second floor, down, and be immortal there. Oh yeah, and game was on Ukrainian, not on English. But then I changed it on English. And keep in mind, I'm playing through the phone. Not a laptop, not a PC, not an Xbox, just a phone. And I had Pineapple 666. That was my first nickname. Then I created Bad Gecko Bad, like a lizard. Not bad, huh? Anyways, it's her. It's him. It's not. It's look like a. This look like female. Oh no, he's about to kill this camera.
On December 10th, 2022, a young man named Zane Skinner picked up the phone and dialed 911. He reported the death of his father with all the emotional range of a GPS navigation system. And that emotional range did not expand when the police arrived at the crime scene.
You're Zane?
Yes, sir.
I just want to confirm who's inside right now?
No one of bodily ability.
So someone deceased inside right now?
Yes, sir.
And who is that person?
Michael Skinner.
And who's that to you?
He was my father.
Okay.
Is it just you in the house?
Oh, yeah, recently.
Okay. Nothing has been touched? Nothing's in...
Not other than me.
Okay. So once you found him, you just called 911?
No.
No?
I waited.
You waited? What do you mean you waited, bud?
I waited.
For how long?
24 hours.
You waited 24 hours to call 911?
Yeah, I was confused.
Okay. Stay with them. Let's go inside real quick.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Wow, this kid sounds as natural as Mark Zuckerberg trying to convince us he's human. But wait, before you judge our boy Zane for his robotic performance, know that he has a perfectly reasonable explanation. Zane's just considering his spacing.
You alright?
Yeah, I just like to consider my spacing.
What do you mean by that?
I just like not to pose threats to people.
Okay.
I like defensibility.
Defensibility. So,
I like to think about my preservation a lot and the preservation of others.
Yes, spacing. The thing our minds all automatically drift to when discovering a parent has passed. Very normal, very human, nothing to see here, officers. Now, as for what the police found inside Zane's home, indeed, Casa de Suspicious did contain exactly what Zane had reported. His father, Mike, had shuffled off of this mortal coil, but here's where things get spicy. Mike didn't just die. Oh no. Mike went out like a movie character who really pissed off Tom Savini. 2 bullets in the skull, 3 knife wounds in the stomach. Someone really wanted to make sure Mike was dead. Like, are you dead? How about now? Still not dead? Let me try that again. Levels of overkill. But who could have done such a thing? Well, according to Zane's initial statement, Mike was apparently running an underground dog fighting ring in the living room, or abusing dogs, or looking at them wrong. The story kind of changes depending on when you ask. In any case, according to Zane, Mike's animal abuse must have been so prolific that some vigilante John Wick wannabe broke in just to deliver justice for those poor puppers. Interesting theory, Zane. Let's fact check this with Mike's widow, shall we?
do you have any reason to believe that Mike was abusive towards...
Oh, God, no.
Okay. He disclosed that Mike was abusive towards animals.
He's so full of that is a
Okay.
lie.
I'm not saying this to trigger.
I'm sorry. I'm
You
sorry.
don't have to apologize for your emotion.
Huh. That's weird. Mike's wife, who lived with him, says that he never hurt the dogs. In fact, she seems pretty confident that this whole animal abuse storyline is about as real as my chances of hitting 1 million subscribers. But do you know who did have some interesting animal-related habits?
Can I add something to
Yes.
the dog part? Actually, Zane started to react a little bit different against, especially Roscoe, and actually my one as well. And I observed that when he was in my house, and it was, I think, Christmas or whatever, that he wants to pet the dog, but as soon as the dog comes up, he will scare the dog. He's like, wow, and scares the heck.
I've seen him do that to Roscoe.
And he was doing that to Roscoe. And so Roscoe had a little issue with him on that part because he was...
Zane was deliberately trying to scare...
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And when he was at my house, he did exact the same thing.
Uh-oh, plot twist. But wait, there's more. Let's see what the neighbors have to say about our protagonist.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Just fine. Everything all right?
Well, for you guys. So we had an incident next door.
Okay, again. Or you're talking about the one from a couple weeks ago?
Today.
Today.
Yeah.
The kid's name is Zane.
Mm-hmm.
We met him 2 weeks ago when you all responded when he tried to force his way into our house.
Oh, he did?
I assume you don't have a record of that?
I have not looked into that.
Okay, yeah. So my wife called 911. I was at work. My wife's getting dressed. She just got out of the bath.
Yeah.
But I want to say a couple weeks ago, again, we could figure out the exact date.
Mm-hmm.
But Zane tried to force his way in here. The door was locked, but he, physically put his body weight against the door. My wife called 911. Officers came, responded. He attempted to flee when the officers engaged him. And he was handcuffed and taken away. We don't really know what happened after that. We started seeing him out there, and he's been out in the garage or sitting in his car. He's out in the front basically every day. He has made us feel nervous, but he hasn't come onto our property since the incident a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And he hasn't, made any physical or verbal threats since then. I almost never don't see him out there. He's out there. So my assumption has been that he's avoiding his parents because of the behavioral problems, but yeah, I don't know. But you're right, he's been out there, and Taylor has said that he'll do things like he'll watch her, or if he sees her coming, he won't make an attempt to conceal himself behind an object, but he'll crouch down and stare at her.
Just weird behavior.
Yeah, strange.
Right.
And then when she drove off, then he just stood up and watched her.
Yeah. In fact, the incident a couple weeks ago, we were wondering if he was going to be put through a talk screen of some sort, because in addition to trying to force his way in, his behavior was just very strange. He was talking to the tree in our front yard, right? There was
He
not
was acting like he was
mentally adjusted behavior going on.
had a mental handicap, but his dad said he didn't, so then I assumed he was on drugs or something.
So to recap, the neighbors think Zane's sketchy. His mom literally kicked him out and pawned him off on his dad. And everyone is pretty much in agreement that the only person with dog issues was Zane himself. Speaking of the mom, let's hear what she has to say about her darling baby boy.
So there was one day, a couple days before I moved him out, and I sat him on the couch and I said, let's talk. And he asked me, do you understand the things that I write? And I told him, no, I don't, because a lot of what you write doesn't make sense because you're high when you do it. And he stood up and he was holding a pen. He stood up and he says, what if I stabbed you with this pen?
Now, before we watch Zane try to explain his way out of this mess, let me drop some exclusive behind-the-scenes tea. I actually called the detective on this case because I'm nosy, and my burning question was, did the detective think Zane was the murderer prior to the interview? Zane, living in an expensive home and even having a nanny, didn't seem like he had many problems in life, so outside his erratic behavior, Zane didn't seem to have much motive to kill. Turns out, our boy Zane wasn't just chilling in his room playing Uma Musume and doing normal teenager stuff. No. According to the detective, Zane's bedroom was basically Hot Topic meets FBI watch list. We're talking books and items implying an obsession with the occult, a legit old-school printed copy of the Anarchist Cookbook, yeah, the one that contains instructions for making bombs and weapons and drugs.
Holy
I had
fuck.
one when I was a kid too, but mine was more of a novelty item. Zane's was filled with notes. And Zane had other various items in his room that screamed, I'm definitely not planning something suspicious. The detective also mentioned that getting shuffled from his mom's house to his dad's house probably didn't do wonders for Zane's already questionable mental state. Turns out that going from one authority figure to another when you're already on the edge isn't great for stability. Anyway, enough of my yapping. Let's watch Zane dig his own grave with the enthusiasm of a golden retriever who just discovered dirt.
Food? Yeah, I can do my best. I did bring water. Would you like some water?
Yeah, I want my water.
Water's okay?
Protein water?
Yeah.
That would be sufficient for you?
I mean, anything more that you'd be willing to offer,
Okay.
I'd appreciate it.
Let me see what
Absolutely. I don't know if we have a protein bar specifically, but we'll try to get you something.
Can you send a snack with you also?
Absolutely.
Okay, I just want to confirm, do you have any allergies or anything? Or you good?
I'm alright with everything.
All right.
Just gonna do a little housekeeping, write down some information.
This sounds good.
Okay, my name is Detective Hayes. I do work for the Rio Rancho Police Department. I would like to have a conversation with you and ask you some questions regarding why you're here today. Before we do that, I do need to advise you of your rights. So you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You do have the right. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you by the state. At any point, if you do not wish to answer my questions, please let me know. We'll stop the interview. And you are not obligated to answer any questions unless, without an attorney present, if that's what you wish. Do you understand everything that I've just said so far? Do you have any questions specifically?
A couple questions, I guess.
Okay.
How soon would an attorney be ready for me, and then where would I go if this interview would just be concluded? Would I just be sitting in here waiting?
I'm sorry, could you rephrase that?
If I just said I don't want to answer any questions, would I just wait in here until there's an attorney present or something? Because an interview have to happen. You said that I don't have to ask questions. Or that you don't have to ask questions.
Okay, so you're curious about the process.
Yeah.
Yes. If you are willing to answer questions with an attorney present, then that's something we could entertain. If you are not willing to answer any of my questions or any questions at all without an attorney present, then we'll have to go from there. But that's going to be entirely up to you.
Absolutely.
What's that?
Yeah, absolutely. I understand that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, keeping your rights in mind, do you wish to answer my questions?
Yeah, I'll answer some of your questions.
Okay, so we can have a conversation.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
Yes, I'm working on grabbing some food. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to have a sip of this water in the meantime?
No, I'm alright.
Do you want anything else besides? I have some little sodas. I think I have some Powerade.
Powerade would be awesome.
Do you want a Powerade? Can you grab one out of my fridge, please? I'm just going to write down basic information, okay? So today's date is December 10th, 2022, case number 22010072. It's approximately 11:15 hours. I'm at 500 Quantum Road. Detective Hayes with me in the room is, will you please state your full name and date of birth?
Zane.
Okay. Zane. You alright if I call you Zane?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
So,
Oh, the those.
yeah.
First and foremost, let me actually grab my key. I apologize. Apologize for all the interruptions.
No, that's okay. That's my problem. I thought you just wanted to have your hands behind your back.
Not quite.
You alright?
Yeah, I just like to consider my spacing.
What do you mean by that?
I just like not to pose threats to people.
Okay.
I like defensibility.
Defensibility.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like to think about my preservation a lot and the preservation of others.
okay.
Sorry about that, Zane. I didn't realize you were still in those. All right, then take this one off. Just put your hand on top of your head, okay? All right, same thing with this one once I get this one off. There we go. All right, you're good to go.
Okay, Zane. You alright?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Describing myself.
So let's start with here's your Powerade if you want. I would like to get your side of the story. I'm really more interested in all of the information, the biggest picture you're able to provide me as far as why are we here today. So I'll start with, I just want to establish a baseline of the level of detail that I'm looking for. You strike me as someone who's very intelligent. So I'm gonna use an analogy of like Netflix. You ever seen Netflix before? Are you familiar with the streaming service? Right, okay. Do you know when you scroll through the different movies and shows that are available to watch, there's like, they'll start playing a little bit of some of the movie so you can get a sense of like what it's about and whether or not you want to watch it?
Yeah.
Okay, well I would call that like a preview. Mm-hmm. I don't want a preview. I want to watch the whole movie. I want to listen to the whole movie. So at no point...
Step by step, everything that I can recall for you.
That is exactly it.
Absolutely.
Let's start, just so we have somewhere to go, based on thinking back, we'll say 24 hours ago, in your own words, tell me everything.
24 hours ago, I found my father's presumed dead body in the bathtub of that bathroom that he was found in. I went to check his pulse. There was a great amount of blood within the pool. There was a great amount of blood pooled within the tub. I checked his pulse. He was a bit blue at the fingertips. I noticed 2 marks on his head, so I simply just attempted to right him up, like sit him up, because he was like set with his back into the tub. So with that, I figured I wouldn't really be able to move him, and so with that touching, I was concerned about my suspicion involved with it. I decided not to call in. I waited around. I found myself a nice, comfortable way to go about cleaning some of the things that I could. I removed sheets. I removed clothing to help myself move him. I was concerned about how much I would spread through the house. My animals didn't really wake me. They were just around. I went to find them, and they were friendly to me as much as they were. The other 2 dogs, other than the full brown one, were very hesitant and not very inclined to stay around me or to let me touch them. But they didn't seem stressed about the situation at all. From there, since I tried to clean up everything, I figured that I wouldn't call it in, so I took a kitchen knife and I stabbed him 3 times in the abdomen in attempts to release pressure. I was thinking that I might be able to just use his body as like fertilizer. I just dig a nice hole and then plant some flowers over it. But with those plants, then I decided that I don't have any money. I haven't had much for a long time, so I was in process to get a job. I went to go get his wallet and I went to the ATM, maybe about 8 or 9. I wasn't really paying attention to the time the entire day yesterday. I couldn't withdraw any money because I didn't know his ATM password. I just wanted to acquire enough money to buy myself some supplies so that I could bury him, like some nice 2x4s and then some fertilizing soil and then a couple plants. Then from the rest of the day, I was just concerned about my standing to it. So I just laid sedentary about myself. I made myself some food and I cleaned myself. And then now I slept, I woke up, and then I called you.
Okay. So I'm just obviously taking notes. I'm just gonna read back everything that you told me, make sure I have it all right. So you said approximately 24 hours ago, you found your father in the bathtub, surrounded by a pool of blood. You checked his pulse. You said you observed 2 marks on his head. Mm-hmm. And then you started to describe, saying without touching, you tried to...
touching? No, I touched him.
Okay.
Wait, I tried to move his body.
Okay.
I tried to take him out of the tub and set him upright, but he's very heavy.
Okay. And you said you were concerned about suspicion. You said your animals didn't wake you. You stabbed him 3 times in the abdomen to release pressure. And
also 2 times in the neck to allow some more drainage.
Okay. So 3 times in the abdomen, 2 times in the neck to release pressure and use them as fertilizer. You grabbed your father's wallet and attempted to use the ATM, but you did not have the PIN number, and your intention was to get supplies to bury him. And you said that you were concerned about your standing. You cleaned yourself up, you ate some food, you slept, and then you called 911.
Yeah, in essence, that is the past 24 hours of my...
Okay. That's the past 24 hours of your life. So, obviously, 24 hours ago, in your own words, can you give me an approximate time when you found your father in the bathtub? So, 24 hours ago, we'll at least say that this was December 9th, Friday.
It's about 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock in the a.m.? Okay. Okay. So, give me a little bit more detail as far as 7 a.m. December 9th.
I came back from an excursion of mine.
An excursion?
Yes.
Can I ask what this excursion was?
I was outside. I wanted to go to this, not the Zuni, but my father talked of how my brother went to the Zuni and, dug himself a hole. and he threatened kicking me out the night before, but he also kicked me out like a couple nights prior, like 2 days prior. So I found myself just choosing the decision to kind of prove to myself what he felt that I didn't have in me.
I'll be honest with you, I'm having a little bit of difficulty following your story. So, 24 hours ago on Friday, December
That was just a bit before. That was the night before. You were asking me what I was doing before.
Okay. Friday, December 9th at about 7 a.m., you returned from an excursion.
Yeah, I arrived.
Okay. And your excursion was you visited the Zuni?
Not the Zuni. It's just like the little Arroyo place, like half a mile away from the house.
Okay. Can you give me a little bit more detail as far as where that is exactly?
So like there's, you walk north from the house, the path into the neighborhood, and then it leads you out to a street. And then there's a nice Grand Arroyo drainage area, and I just found myself huddled up in one of those places. Like there's little holes.
Okay. Why were you a half mile from the home in a hole off in the arroyo?
I was just trying to prove to myself that I had it in me. Like he thought that I didn't have, because he took pity on me. He was like, all right, we'll take you back in.
So I would like to get into the dynamic, the family relationship of you and your father. What do you mean? What do you mean
and the dogs.
He didn't have it in you? He didn't think I had it in me.
I was a pussy or something.
Okay,
so he thought the same thing about my brother too.
So your dad thought you and your brother were pussies?
Yeah, and he actually laid his hands on my brother too. A lot of it in front of me.
Okay. So at 7 a.m. yesterday, you returned from an excursion approximately a half mile from your house when you were in the arroyo sleeping in a hole just to prove to yourself that you had it in you and you weren't a pussy, as you said your father called you. And what did you do when you, at 7 a.m.? Start from there. So you returned. Tell me exactly what you did in as much detail as you're able to give me.
I walked in upon him, and I found him in the tub.
Okay.
Do you mind if I kind of clarify a little bit? So I think what the details that I'm Detective Ash, by the way, I'm just kind of sitting in and listening. And I'll put in 2 cents here and there. But the details he's asking for, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but from when you got home from your excursion, exactly what did you do? Where did you go? What brought you to that room? What did you see? Give us everything about the house.
Just a little bit before daybreak.
Okay, so let's start from the very beginning when you're getting back to the house. Exactly what actions you took, what did you see, what did you smell? Every detail you can give us is going to be helpful.
On the way back from the arroyo, I wasn't really too within myself deciding like how to be perceptive of how I was walking back. I was just walking back. I took a hightail towards the west part of the arroyo. And then I wrapped back around, and then I came back from the south side of the neighborhood. And then I entered the premise, and then I found him. And there was also the door open, so the back door was open.
Where did you enter from?
The garage.
Why did you enter from the garage?
Because I don't have a key for the front doors.
Why didn't you have the keys for the front door?
I used to have a key, and then my keys got stolen from me.
So you entered the home at approximately 7 a.m., just before daybreak, in your words. You entered through the garage and not enter through the front door because you didn't have the keys, and you didn't have the keys because they were stolen. So when you walk in through the garage, then what did you do?
You enter the door from the garage to the house.
Okay, so now you're inside of the home.
You path yourself.
What?
You path yourself into. Normally he's awake, out and about by like 5:45.
Okay, normally your father's awake.
Yeah.
How did you know your father wasn't awake?
Because normally he's around. He makes his coffee right away.
Okay. So you walk in, you pathed yourself into the home from the garage door, and you notice that your father was not up and about. Is that correct? And then what did you do?
Since there was all 3 dogs in the household, I found Daisy lying in my room that I've been staying in, and then Roscoe was in the room adjacent. But there was another dog, Cash. He spent most of the day lying around in like the den area, but whenever I first found him, he was in the room past the blood and stuff.
Okay. He was in the room past the blood and stuff.
Yeah, like you...
Tell me about that. So you walk in, you see your dogs, you path yourself into the house. Normally your father's up and about making coffee. He was not up and about. And then you saw him in the room past the blood and stuff. So let's talk about that.
So the doorway, it opens to the center of the room, and from there I saw the sheets spread aside and a blood spatter on the sheets. There was blood on the dog bed next to the bed, and then there was no trail leading to the bathroom. I saw Cash on the opposite side of the bed after I looked around and changed the sheets.
Where is this room? I've never been in this house before. Can you describe to me from the garage?
From the garage?
Where this room is located?
So the entryway from the garage to the house, there's a laundry room. There's 2 sets of machines, and then straight out of the laundry room, there's a corridor that opens to the left and to the right. To the left, there's 2 doorways into 2 bedrooms, and then straight ahead, there's the bathroom. To the right, there's a kitchen area, and then to the far right, once you exit the corridor, there's a den area with the front door. Once you take the left, instead of taking the right to the den, you open yourself to the dining room and the living room. The bedroom opens up from a corridor, and then there's the master bedroom and a large closet and another branching off piece of bathroom.
Okay. Was this room where you saw your father pass the blood and stuff? Was that the master bedroom?
Yeah, there was blood in that master bedroom.
Okay. Who sleeps in the master bedroom?
That of him and his proclaimed wife.
Why do you call her a proclaimed wife?
Because they didn't wear very officiating things, and I never saw an engagement happen.
How did that make you feel?
Indifferent.
Indifferent. Okay, so you're the master bedroom, first floor. Tell me about what you saw while you were walking towards there. Like, What compelled you to go to that bedroom?
I was just looking for the dogs and also looking for him because normally he's out and about. Normally he just feeds them by like 6.
Okay. Well, how do you know if your dogs were fed?
There would have been a third bowl since Cash was there.
Okay. When you made the decision to go to the master bedroom to find your father, because he wasn't up and about, he wasn't making coffee, there wasn't a third bowl to indicate that the dogs had been fed, what did you see? What did you see
In the master bedroom?
as you were walking from the garage to the master bedroom?
I opened to the left and I saw my dog Daisy in my bedroom at the near foot of my bed. And then I went to the right, checked that bedroom, and Roscoe was on the bed. Then I went out to the right to the den and I didn't see Cash. And then I backtracked past the kitchen and then to see the master bedroom.
Okay, and what did you see when you walked into the master bedroom?
Before I walked in, I saw a stain of blood on the sheets and on the floor and on the dog bed.
Where were these sheets? You said it was before you walked in. You saw
just on the bed, like they were fitted to it. I removed the sheets after.
Okay. And then what?
Then I attempted to adjust his body because I found him lying there and he didn't have a pulse.
Okay, how did you know there were blood stains on the sheets?
Just a very specific hue to blood.
So it's very specific hue to blood. Tell me about it.
Very deep of color. It's very noticeable.
Okay, what's noticeable?
Very contrasting.
Very contrasting.
Yeah, compared to gray sheets, red stands out very much.
Okay, so you saw very contrasting red stains on gray bed sheets. And so you were convinced that those stains were blood. And then after you saw the blood stains, you saw your father. Where was your father in relation to the blood stains?
Just past the bed into the...
He was in the bathroom. Where in the bathroom of the master bedroom, past the blood-stained gray sheets?
Once you open yourself up to that room, to the direct right, there's a shower. And then to the left of that shower, there's a bathtub. And that's where he was.
Okay. Tell me where his body was in relation to the bathtub, in your own words. What prepositions would you use?
His back was flat against the bottom of the floor, his head towards the drain.
Okay, so he was in the bathtub. So once you walked past the blood-stained gray sheets into the bathroom, you saw your father in the bathtub, and his head was towards the drain. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How old are you, Zane?
I'd like to continue. After I saw him and I checked his pulse, I tried to adjust him, but I wasn't able to adjust him, so I went to the kitchen and I got a knife and I cut into him, both in the abdomen and through the neck. I was attempting to ensure that he was entirely dead, because I didn't know how long he was there.
Okay. What did you think when you first walked into the master bedroom from the garage after observing that your father was not making coffee like he normally is? There was an indication to you that the dogs had not been fed because there was a third bowl that wasn't there. You make the decision to go to the master bedroom where you know your father to sleep. You saw contrasting red stains on gray bed sheets and continued to walk into the bathroom, and you encountered your father, who was in the bathtub with his head by the drain. How did that make you feel?
Distraught.
Okay.
Depressed.
So tell me about that, like,
Upset.
tell me that moment when you
Mournful.
distraught, upset, mournful. What do those words mean to you? What does that mean?
In light of understanding that someone feels that they must kill, then there is a sad notion that you can appeal to it.
So distraught means in light of when someone knows they have to kill.
There can be a sad notion applied to it.
Okay, so you're saying even if somebody makes the decision to kill someone, they can still be upset about it. Is that what distraught means to you?
More distraught in that of the passing of him. Not distraught within the notion of that of the emotional attachment to the kill.
Okay. The killer. Do you have any idea who the killer might be?
I assume 2 people.
You assume 2 people. Why?
The amount of weight that man carries.
And what would you approximate to be your father's weight?
Maybe just shy of 300.
Are you responsible for your father's death?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
I feared that he was going to endanger society further.
Okay.
He was making threats about my life, and I pressed him constantly about that of the dogs' lives within recent past. And I made a call, and I was rejected for that of the help from the community support.
You made a call.
Yeah,
What was the call?
just relating to that of animal abuse.
How are you responsible for your father's death?
I used the double action revolver.
Okay.
And I put 2 bullets into his head. The first one didn't kill him.
Okay. Thank you for helping me to understand more specifically how this happened. Double action revolver. Do you know anything more specific about that firearm?
I don't know the make and model, no.
Okay. Do you know what a caliber is?
I assume a 45.
Okay, so you assume that the caliber of the double action revolver you used was a 45. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let me see. Tell me your story on how you came to the decision to shoot your father with a double action revolver. Tell me about how you were responsible for his death. Give me the whole story.
I woke and I was prodded by that of a voice in my head. I was told, go.
Continue.
No, dude, that's it.
So you woke up, you had a voice inside your head that said, go. When was this that the voice in your head told you to go?
Just soon after I woke up.
Okay, what day was that?
On the 9th.
That was on the 9th. And when did you wake up?
Sometime about 5.
5 a.m. or p.m.?
I don't know, it was just before daybreak.
Okay.
AM. I found him in the morning.
So tell me everything that you did. You woke up just before daybreak, approximately 5
I
a.m.
walked to the house and I opened the garage. And I entered the premise from the garage. And in that garage, there was that 45 ACP. I grabbed it and I killed him with 2 shots to the head. And I ensured that he was dead with a stabbing to the brain. I wanted it to be humane.
Okay. Where did you find your father before he was shot?
In his bed.
Okay. What was he doing?
He was asleep. I woke him. I asked him a question.
What did you ask him?
Whether he beats the dogs or not.
And your father say when you woke him up and asked him if he beats the dogs?
He questioned what I was doing, and then I asked him again, and he said no, and then I shot him.
Where did you shoot him?
In the head twice.
Where on his head?
To the right side of his head.
This is insane. You just wreck it and kill your father?
And then you wanted to be humane, so you stabbed him 3 times in the abdomen, twice in the neck, to ensure that he was, in fact, deceased. Is that correct? Okay. What did you do after that?
I went about trying to write an area for his disposal out of the flower bed.
Okay, so after you had shot your father and ensured that he was dead, you wanted to attempt to dispose of his body. You were considering disposal. Is that an accurate way to say it?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about that. Let's go through Zane's process of disposal.
What of it? I couldn't dispose of him.
Okay, well, why not?
I wasn't capable.
Okay, why weren't you capable?
I don't have the ability. I didn't have the materials, the resources.
Okay. To get those materials, obtain those materials, obtain those resources.
Yes, I made an attempt.
Okay.
Out of the ATM.
Okay. But as you had told me originally, you did not have the PIN number for the ATM, so you were unable to obtain the money to purchase the resources that you felt were necessary to dispose of your father. Is that correct? Is there anything else that you would like to tell me at this point that we haven't already discussed?
No. Nothing to discuss.
Can I ask you some more questions?
Please.
Okay. I'm interested to know
Why?
the reason, or more specifically, I guess, the voice that told you to go. Is there anything?
Out of the voice that told me to go, I've been interacting with many. The threats that were exchanged was heard by that voice. He responded to those are the threats of my father.
Okay.
And he is giving me the command, per se.
So this voice commanded you to act on its behalf and kill your father?
Yeah.
Okay.
What were the threats that your father did? You and the voice?
He was boasting that he had his firearm in his hand.
And when was this?
The night before the shooting.
Explain that situation to us so we can understand that.
After he and Caleb had departed ways, he came back into the house and he went between his room, the living room, and that of the garage. Assuming getting more drinks between that of the garage and his time away from the garage. Between those, he was speaking of how it is that he is felt angered. And he asked himself, but it only seemed to temper his rage more. He started stomping around more. He started saying, yeah, I leaned my head past the barrier of the door frame, and I kept my gun behind that of the door frame and talked to your brother. I wonder how many times he did that to me. He didn't do it that night. He just threatened that he had his gun in his hand. And that he was ready to pull around and pop me. I was concerned. I had my water. And I threatened that I would use all of my ability to defend myself in such an instance.
So the previous evening, Caleb is your brother?
Simply my dad's friend.
Oh,
My brother is Jacob.
Okay. So your dad and Caleb, what were they doing? Were they arguing?
No, they share friendly discord.
Okay.
From what I'm aware of.
Okay. Where's your brother live?
I don't know.
Okay.
If you had been able to procure the funds necessary to purchase supplies and dispose of your father's body, what was the plan with that?
Honestly, probably would have used like a hacksaw or something to cut off his limbs because I couldn't get him out of that bathtub.
Okay.
If I really wanted to, but I wouldn't have been able to get rid of the sheets in the way that I wanted to, or get rid of the stain in the sheets. So I would have ended up making a second pit and maybe a third pit and burning the remains.
Of course. How did you want to get rid of the sheets? You said you would not have been able to get rid of the sheets the way you wanted to. You would not have been able to.
Just rather the staining in them.
Okay.
Like washing them?
Yeah.
So what was your thought? At some point, obviously,
I'm just aware that blood stains very well, and it's hard to get that stuff out. And it was a very deep stain.
Okay.
Within both of the articles.
So you knew the stains on the gray bed sheets were blood because when you shot your father, that's how
it poured out of him, yes.
Okay. And at one point, you made the decision to call 911. Can you tell me in your own words how you came to the decision from when you originally thought, well, I'm going to use this ATM card to purchase materials in order to dispose of his body, to the point where you made the decision to call 911. Can you tell me about that?
I understood that I fucked up, so...
Okay.
Legal jurisdiction overrides that of religious jurisdiction within these realms.
Help me to understand that. Legal jurisdiction within religious jurisdiction, and you fucked up.
Well, I was just... prodded. I was prodded by that of an entity or a deity that I proclaim much amounts of respect for.
What's this deity? Does this deity have a name?
Yeah, God.
Okay. So you made the decision that you had fucked up in God's eyes.
No, I didn't fuck up in God's eyes. I fucked up in the eyes of the law.
Okay. So in God's eyes, you were justified. You fucked up on this, however you want to put it, man's law. And tell me about that. I mean, even if it's some inner monologue that you had with yourself, I'm just curious to know Zane's process from the time that he had decided, I cannot dispose of this body. Tell me everything about that. What went through your head? What did you think? What did you do?
I thought of how it is that I was going to treat my dogs. I thought, I'm going to go ahead and live for about 2 weeks going to PetSmart. And then I'll work and I'll acquire some money. And during those 2 weeks, I'll ration the food for the dogs. And then from there, then I'll be able to acquire my materials. And I'll be able to dispose of them then.
Okay. What were you going to do in the meantime with your father's body?
I wouldn't have wanted to let it rest. I would have probably disposed of it in pieces into trash bags to ensure that it didn't rot up the house anymore.
Okay. Why did you make the decision to call 911?
Because I had no avenues or resources about myself to complete what it is that I wanted to do. And so I figured that someone else can deal with it and deal with me as consequence as well.
Okay. Moving forward from today, What are you expecting will happen? Like, give me a projection. What does the next 6 months of your life look like? What's the next year of your life look like? Like, how do you imagine this playing out?
I assume that I will be tried within time.
Okay.
Within that of the court and before a jury.
And?
I assume that I will be held in that of detainment.
I think I know what you mean, but can you elaborate? What does that mean?
I'll be given a cell for the next 6 months until my jury proceeding.
Okay. And then?
Then I'll be tried and convicted as a felon.
Okay. And why will you be tried and convicted as a felon?
Because you've gotten a confession out of me, saying that I've killed my father.
Okay. So, taking out this confession, what do you think would happen? I mean, it's an investigation either way, regardless of whether or not we had this conversation today. What do you think would have happened if we hadn't talked?
If I had disposed of his body parts in bags, I would have ended up placing those body parts within the pit, and I would have buried those body parts within the pit, and then I would have applied a layer of fertile soil, and I would have planted stuff. But that's just like at the end of 2 weeks. If someone were to arrive, depending on who it is that they represent and who it is that they claim they represent, I would have been inviting. I would have had a nice sociable attitude, but I wouldn't have spoken to them from without a barrier.
Okay. Do you think anybody would have noticed that he was missing?
I was aware or under the guise that he wasn't working for that construction company that he used to work for.
I'm not sure I know.
So I'm not sure if he would have been poked and prodded by anyone.
Okay.
So you're not sure if he still had the job that he was working prior? Mm-hmm. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
If you could do it all over again, how would you have done anything differently?
If I were to kill him?
You can interpret that question however you want. If you could do it...
If I could have done it differently, I wouldn't have killed my father, and I would have had him instituted within that of a prison for that of animal abuse.
Okay.
So I can tell you care about those dogs a great deal.
Yeah, to an extent.
Okay, so you said that you called for help before about the animal abuse. Is that accurate? What do you mean by that? Who did you call?
242 cops.
Okay. And what did you report to them?
I asked just for a filing of an animal abuse report.
Okay. And what did you expect to be done by that? Because it sounds like it wasn't.
Just simply an interview with a police officer who would have been guided to the house.
Okay.
This is his house. This is the house in Rio Rancho?
Yeah.
Why did you call 242 cops?
What's the call number for Bernalillo County, or I mean for Sandoval County?
It's a totally different number.
Okay. I wasn't aware.
But when you were greeted on the phone, what were you told?
I was asked what's the issue, and I said I'd just like to report a case of animal abuse. Okay. They said, okay, we don't deal with that. Call the animal shelter or the veterinary or the...
Okay. Did anyone on the phone give you any indication that it was Albuquerque or the Albuquerque Police Department that was fielding that phone call?
No, they're extraordinarily rude to me.
Okay.
Very short.
I believe that. And was that your only attempt at getting some sort of justice for your pets?
Yeah, I should have talked to more people, yep.
Do you know about when you made that phone call?
What about it?
When did you call 242 cops?
Maybe about like 11 to 2 p.m. like 2 days ago.
Okay. Am I missing something? What's funny?
No, you don't know anything. That's all.
You don't have anything?
I don't know anything.
What do you mean you don't know anything?
I just should have known.
Should have known what?
To talk to more people.
About?
About the abuse that was going on within that household and the threats.
Okay. If you don't mind, Detective Ash and I are just going to step out of the room for a minute and take a break, and we're also going to work on that power bar. Are you know of any allergies? Are you okay with like crackers?
I'd really appreciate some. Just anything.
Anything.
Thank you guys very much.
Check it out. Service.
We have some loose potato chips, a Kit Kat, and a Nature Valor protein bar.
So thank you all.
That is the best we were able to come up with on short notice. See if we can't find anything else. Hey, did you get your snacks?
Yeah.
Good. Mark the time real quick, 12:36. So I'm going to ask you some questions, some things that I forgot to ask while we were speaking a little while ago. What bank ATM did you try and use?
Lucenda.
Lucenda?
Yeah.
And whereabouts is this particular bank ATM located, Lucenda? Do you have any like landmarks? What's around it?
Like the Albertsons.
Albertsons. So the Lucenda
Shopping area.
Lucenda by the Albertsons?
Yeah.
Do you know any other information as far as the location of where that is specifically?
Lincoln and another street. I'm not sure the crossroads.
Off Lincoln?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you get there?
By vehicle.
Okay, fair. What vehicle?
I won't disclose.
Okay, so specifically I meant to ask what was the route? Like literally turn by turn, which route did you take to get to this ATM?
Right out the driveway, left, straight ahead, right.
I'm curious. Why won't you tell me the vehicle that you used?
I don't care to.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Why doesn't it matter?
Because it doesn't.
Did you go anywhere else? So You left your house to go to the Nisanda by the Albertsons located near Lincoln, and then you didn't go anywhere else.
Just straight back to the house.
Okay.
Did you take anything with you when you went to the bank?
Just his information.
Information, what do you mean by that?
And my phone and wallet.
Your phone and wallet and his information?
Yeah, the card.
Okay. So did you send a card?
No, it's a different banking. It's by US Bank.
What were you wearing?
Red sweats and a gray jacket with some undershirt. Maybe it was this one. This gray one that I got.
Okay. Red sweats, gray jacket. And were you wearing that when you went to the ATM?
I believe so.
Okay. And were you wearing that on the day that your father was killed?
Yes, ATM visit and the day that my father was killed. Yes, the day.
Okay. How did your father get in the bathtub?
I was placed there.
He was placed there?
Yeah.
Okay, fair. How was he placed there?
He was hauled.
And who hauled him?
Just myself.
Okay. And how did you do this?
Using my able body.
Okay. I appreciate all your answers, but I think we've already established at the beginning of the interview. I would appreciate if you also gave me a little bit more details. Like, if I asked you how you tied your shoes and you said my hands, it's not an incorrect answer. But specifically, how did you come to haul your father from the bed to the bathtub using your able body?
I dragged him off the bed by that of underarm straps.
Underarm straps?
Yeah, striatal muscles.
Would you be able to, if you stood up and demonstrate your body orientation at that time, would you be able to do that for us? So that we can understand what that means?
I don't know. I just reached over. I pulled, dragged him on the ground, and then I tried him like this, carried him like that, and then I moved myself around, and then I carried him slowly like that.
Okay, so the first part where you were on this side, so explain to me what your father's body was doing at that point.
His head was facing forward.
Okay, so his head was so oriented
Towards the bathroom.
And did you drag his feet or his armpits?
Yes, by under the arms.
Okay. So under here, like your hands would be under this part of his body.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that accurate?
Were there any I'm sorry.
No, I mean, it's fine. Yeah, I just want to finish the house.
Have there been any visitors to your home recently?
There was one man that arrived. I didn't talk to him, or I didn't formally address him.
Okay. Do you know, can you give me some time frame, like when this man arrived?
Sometime in the afternoon, like 1 to 3.
Okay. And on what day was this?
The 9th.
Okay, so yesterday, the 9th. And what happened when this man arrived? You said you didn't address it. I understand what that means, but can you tell me what exactly were you doing at the time? And so forth. Again, painting that picture of exactly what happened in this particular incident.
The man that arrives on the doorstep?
Yes.
He pulled up. My dog's alerted. And he walked up to the door. He rang the doorbell twice. I went and stood next to the door while it was well timed that he looked away. And then I conversed with him through that of the wall.
So you did have a conversation with him?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me about that conversation?
He was trying to figure out my motive.
What do you mean by that?
He was wondering why I did it.
So, can you tell me exactly, like...
I said because I was pissed off about the dogs and how they're being continued to be mistreated.
Okay. What was that exchange of dialogue like?
Respectful.
Okay, but what was said?
After that of the motive, then we detoured to a different discussion, that of religion.
Okay. And about how long was this conversation?
Maybe like 7 minutes at the most.
So you had a 7-minute conversation with a man that arrived at the house sometime between the hours of 1 and 3 p.m. yesterday on December 9th.
Yeah, we shared conversation.
Okay.
What was this man driving?
Maroon type Honda Ridgeback or something.
Honda Ridge. I am not familiar with that. Could you?
It's like a truck SUV hybrid.
Like a truck SUV? Like a smaller truck or a big SUV?
Yeah, like a smaller truck, 4 doors, I believe.
Just like a bed, like a truck one. And if you don't mind, you said he was asking about your motive. What exactly did he ask you?
He was like, why did you do it?
And that was the first thing he said to you. Why did you do it?
No, the first thing was like, just like, why are you here? And he was like, I'm just wondering why you did it. I was like, because I don't want to keep hurting the dogs.
So, am I to understand what you're telling me right now is that you had a 7-minute conversation with a man who arrived at your house sometime between the hours of 1 and 3 p.m. on December 9th about your father's murder?
About the passing of it, yeah.
Okay. And what did this man have to say about it?
He was just concerned with understanding the viewing that he took.
What was the viewing that he took?
He wanted to know the motive.
And you told him that it was about your concerns about animal abuse?
Yeah, I informed him that I was upset with that of how he was cruel and how he treated that of lively beings.
How did the topic of your father's passing come about in the conversation? Like, tell me how that...
He just simply knew.
He simply knew?
Yeah, he just simply knew.
The man just came and knocked on the door and knew that he was dead?
Yeah.
Did he know how he had died?
I assume he knew.
Okay, so
he didn't ask.
He didn't ask.
No.
You didn't say.
No.
You assumed that he knew how he died.
Yeah.
But you're telling me that he did know he was dead.
Yeah.
And that for 7 minutes, the two of you just talked with the door in between each other.
Yeah, I changed my location while I was talking to him.
Okay.
And what was the purpose of that?
I could.
Okay, this is interesting to me. How how did you change your location and have a conversation with him at the same time?
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. My God, he lets me do that.
Okay. So you were having a conversation with him while changing your location. Where did you relocate?
Just the garage.
Just to the garage?
Yeah, I smoked.
Okay. How are you having this conversation?
We were just sharing our thoughts.
Without using words?
No, we're using words.
Okay.
We think with our words.
But I mean, help me to understand. I've never done that before. Like, how does that happen that you have a conversation with someone on the other side of the door during which you relocate to the garage and continue sharing your thoughts using words? How does that happen? Because, I mean...
Using words being the spoken voice. Are we using our spoken voice, or are you saying that your thoughts and his thoughts were meshing and you guys were communicating through thoughts or through the spoken word?
I mean, you have to appreciate that's fair, but how does that happen?
Yeah, I guess we just found the same wavelength.
Okay.
So you were not using the spoken word?
No, I wasn't vocalizing.
Okay. So the whole conversation was using your thoughts and not the spoken word. Is that accurate? If not, tell us. We're just trying to understand.
Yeah, I don't understand. Okay. If we were to review any available security video or doorbell camera video or anything like that, would it tell a different story?
No other videos would tell different stories than what I've told you, other than one lie.
And what's that?
I don't care to disclose.
Okay, but there is a lie, you just won't tell us what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, yeah.
That's our job to figure that out.
Yeah, and I completely understand as best to my ability that you were having conversations with people without using what Detective Hatch and I would refer to as the spoken word. The way most people communicate, the way you and I are communicating right now. I don't possess that ability to have conversations with people unless I'm using the spoken word. So a lot of the investigation and the tools that we will use and potential evidence that we will attempt to obtain will be kind of like on that basic level of spoken word, visual cues, observations, things like that, the tangible, the earthly, man-made sort of evidence. And that's why I'm asking for clarification, and I would never have known that you had a full-on conversation with someone without actually speaking to them, because I don't understand that. That's beyond my capability.
Why does that man deny having that conversation with me?
Say again?
Why does that man deny having that conversation with me?
I never said anybody denied having a conversation with you. I'm trying to get your side of the story.
Yeah. And I gave it.
Okay. And that'll be something I have to follow up with. I'm going to have to ask if I am able to identify who this person is. Did you have a conversation with Zane without using his spoken words?
Without.
Okay.
Without vocalizing.
And again, you said there was one lie to your story. Are you sure you don't care to help me to understand? I mean,
I'm sure you can discern it.
Sure, I can discern. Whoa, thank you for that. Acknowledgement to my credit. We'll see. I don't know. Full disclosure, it would be easier if you just told me what it was, but if you don't want to, that's your right. So, according to you, no deviation or any surveillance video with the exception of one line. I know that you told me You entered the home through the garage, and you did that because you were unable to go through the front door, and you were unable to go through the door because you didn't have the keys. And you didn't have the keys because you said they were stolen. But what I didn't ask you was, how did you get into the garage?
Garage door.
Okay. And what about the garage door opener?
I press the button and it opens the garage door.
Okay, that's an excellent answer to my question. Did you just walk around with garage door openers?
Whenever I leave the house, yes.
Okay, so it's your common practice to carry a garage door opener, specifically the garage door opener to this address, on your person, and that is what you use to enter the garage. Did I get that right? Okay. When did you first notice your keys were stolen?
Maybe like 3 months ago.
Do you know who stole your keys?
I have my suspicions.
Who do you suspect is responsible for it?
One of my acquaintances.
One of your acquaintances. Does this acquaintance have a name?
Yeah, Lucas.
Lucas? Does Lucas have a last name?
I can't recall it.
Okay, so your friend Lucas, an acquaintance of yours by the name of Lucas, you've identified as Lucas, you suspect as the person responsible for stealing your keys a few months ago.
Yeah.
Did you start carrying around a garage door opener when the keys were stolen? Or when you noticed they were missing?
Only whenever I left the house.
Only when you left the house?
And whenever I was in the vehicle.
How did you call 911?
Using my cellular.
You use your cellular phone? Okay.
Magical box.
Say again?
My magical box.
The magical box? Is that what you referred to?
Yes, jokingly.
Oh, I mean, let's be real. They are kind of magical what you can do with a cell phone. There's all kinds of information that's available on cell phones. I kind of like that magical box. Is this your cell phone?
It was gifted to me.
Okay. Was it gifted to you? So it's your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. And you were obviously in possession of this cell phone when you made the call to 911. Was there any time when this phone was not in your possession?
No, that phone stays on me, and the tracking that it has is very accurate.
So if we were to forensically examine any content that may be on your phone, especially as it pertains to geolocation data, strike me as somebody who knows what that is, would it tell me anything different?
That it wasn't on my person.
It would tell me that it wasn't on your person?
It might, yeah.
Okay. You can understand the confusion that is in conflict with what you just told me. You said it was on your person the whole time, and now you're saying...
Just about.
Just about. Can you articulate the time when the phone was not in your possession?
Didn't I say when it wasn't in my possession?
You did not.
I didn't say that I left it at the house whenever I went on my excursion?
No, you did not.
I was actually going to ask that.
That's absolutely.
Okay, so you left the phone at your house when you were on your excursion.
Yeah.
Did your excursion include anything besides going to an ATM?
Include no.
Include, you picked out that word right. What do you mean include? Is there something else that...
I didn't go any other places besides that of the ATM or the Royal.
So which excursion are we talking about that it wasn't on your person? Was it the one in the Arroyo the night before? Or so you had your phone on your person when you went to the ATM?
Yes.
Okay, just to clarify.
So the excursion that you're referring to is when you went to the Arroyo to prove that you had it in you. Is that a no?
I don't know, I don't really look at my phone. I try to keep my wallet on me.
Okay. During the call to 911, you had mentioned that you believe your father was tortured.
I said that it may have been possible that he was tortured.
Okay, fair. That is exactly what you said. It may have been possible that he was tortured. That's a good memory. Can you explain to me what that means? Why did you say that?
Because of the markings that I left on her.
What markings did you leave?
That was the puncture marks.
The puncture marks?
From the kitchen knife.
From the kitchen knife.
You said a couple of things. Is it Mr.
No, go for it.
So you said a couple of things about stabbing him 3 times in the abdomen and then twice in the neck. Is that accurate? You said those things earlier in our conversation.
Yeah, there was one more marking just near the torso area.
Near the torso, like around the sternum area.
More towards the outside.
Okay. And you also mentioned at one point, and I just want to clarify, you said that you had stabbed him in the brain. Did you stab him in the brain as well?
Yeah, that was the attempt.
The attempt.
Yeah.
But when we were talking, you gestured like this.
Yeah.
So where exactly did you stab him, so that we are aware?
Just underneath the jawline.
Okay. And that was the 2. Is that accurate?
Yes.
What you told us?
We just wanted to make sure we had it right. So 3 to the abdomen, 2 underneath the jawline with the attempt to get to his brain.
Yeah.
And then you have an additional just to the right of that orientation is to the area of the sternum, on the torso area.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, then that's fine. If it's just a guesstimate, we're just trying to get a good picture of what we have. Okay.
Okay.
And so that's what you meant by he essentially was tortured because of those markings that you put on his body.
Yeah.
Where was he when you did that?
In the bathroom.
So he had already been placed in the tub.
Yeah.
And I want to go over a little bit more about his orientation when he was in the tub. You talked about the upper part of his body, that his head was toward the drain, his back was flat on the floor of the tub. Tell me about his arms and legs. How are those positioned?
His arms are splayed out and his legs are splayed out. They're kind of like a bug on his back.
Okay. So when we go into the house, is that how he's going to be at this point, or have you attempted to move him since then?
Oh yeah, he was moved.
How was he moved? Explain that.
Using biomechanics to move the legs across.
I'm just curious to the tub, because you've already told us that you killed your father, and you've already told us how you killed him. But when Detective Hatch asks how he was moved, you don't say, I moved him. You say, he was moved.
What of him?
Why do you phrase it that way?
Twice.
Is there anyone else responsible for the death of your father?
No.
Is there anyone else that was involved in the death of your father?
No. Just me and my hand.
Is there anyone that is responsible or involved in the moving of your father's body from the bed to the tub?
No.
I'm curious. You had mentioned earlier in our conversation that there were several things, but essentially you eventually called 911 because you didn't have the means to dispose of the body the way you wished to. You were unable to move him from the tub to get him where you would like him to be, so you would have eventually planned on taking him and with a hacksaw and piece by piece removing him from the tub. But you moved him to the tub, so you're strong enough to lift him. Is that correct in saying that?
I had an ability to move him, yeah.
You had an ability? What was that ability then that's different than now?
Probably that of orientation.
Okay.
Orientation of what?
How it is that you place your body.
How you place your body or how his body was placed?
How one can manipulate themselves around that body.
Okay.
So you're saying to relocate him from the bed to the tub was easier than relocating him from the tub and disposing of his body because of how you were oriented?
Yeah, in essence.
Okay.
We don't want to get it in essence. We want to make sure that we're getting it accurately. Okay, so...
Yeah, probably would have been easier to move it from the bedroom to the bathroom than from out of the bathtub.
Yeah, I'm not understanding, like, you're giving us so much information, and this is as good an opportunity as any for you to tell us your story, but sometimes you seem very reluctant to give us information, and I don't understand why.
Just hesitant.
Okay.
But it's information nonetheless.
That's fair.
Absolutely. We do appreciate all the information you're giving us. I think you're being very helpful. You're being fairly honest with us. Obviously, you're saying there's some deception, but that's in any investigation. That's for us to determine and look at the physical evidence and the statements made. And we're going to get the answers to all of that. But again, as Detective Hayes said, it is easier for us if you just tell us.
I am curious. I mean, challenge accepted, but why did you make the decision to change one thing or to be deceitful on one thing according to you?
Just because I decided to tell you that I lied about that one thing.
Okay. Just to make it a challenge?
No.
You done?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so the weaponry used, you said you woke up at about 5 a.m., voice in your head said, go. You went to the garage, grabbed a 45 ACP, went to your father's room, he was asleep, and obviously we know what happens after that. How did you know that gun was there?
I found it earlier.
Okay. How did you know the gun was loaded?
I checked the chambers.
And how did you do that? And by all means, imagine it's in your hands right now. You can feel free to pantomime like exactly what you did. Okay.
How much earlier did you want to get that gun?
A few hours.